So I've been trying to pluck up the willpower to make a start on this for really a full day. I've known I've been going to do it for a while, but the more I thought about it the last couple of days, the more I realised there are so many things I can get looking much better if I do this one big job. So let's have a look at it. Yeah, so I'm just finishing for the day, and with where I was with this sort of bedroom wall with a window recess, that is depressing. But I'm thinking that it'd be a good idea to have a little storage area there for like stuff when you go to bed, just I don't know, put your change and stuff like that. Stuff to put in your pockets like wallet and stuff like that, just little valuables that you have on your old time most of the time. I've also, it gives me the opportunity to take that off. Push that wire a little bit higher. That's plastic edging. I still haven't got it shaped perfectly yet. It needs a bit more trimming off the edges so that it'll push up a bit further. Once that's done, then I've got a line to carry that on right into the corner, which will look much better than it did before. The first thing is I need to replace these tongue and groove ceiling panels and get them right to the metal where they weren't before. Previously they were up to this and looked a mess. Okay, so it's the first day trying to make repairs. Because these tongue and groove sections tend to be attached at pretty much the same point every time. I don't know if I'm really trusting these little drill holes. So what I'm going to do is add extra banners. So one there, one here for now. Probably fit one to these 2 points later. So it's a bit of a pain working in this gap, but actually making pretty decent progress. I've got yeah, 1, 2, 3 panels in, one more to fit. This might be quite difficult because the alignment issue comes up here again. That will push out of the way a bit. So I'll see how it goes. It's not totally cured that. I've still got a bit of a gap. Okay, so ended a long day, but I've actually got all the ceiling panels back in. Very pleased with that progress. I've redone that one completely from scratch. Cut every one of them down. The odd one I've remade out of offcuts that were already out of this lot, so they're already varnished. But that is a close fit at the top. It's not pushing the TNG up at the ceiling. So quite pleased with that. Next thing I'm going to be doing is doing these 2 little storage areas, which should be quite easy. I'll do it just the same as I've done that one, which didn't take so long. So I'll cut the first little storage bit. I'm expecting this to take probably a couple of days work. It's easy enough, but it's still a bit time consuming. Okay, so after about a couple of hours work, I don't fasten that in, I don't fasten that in. You can't because you're on outer wall, so it needs trapping in there somehow. So I just make panel foot bottom, panel foot back, trap that in like that. That in like that, and just fasten side ones in, and that's it. So I'm very nearly ready to actually fasten it in. Okay, so that one's done. I'll just, like I did the one at the front, I'll just put some brow silicone seal in there just to stop thin things, I don't know, credit cards maybe, sliding from under there, whatever. The second one, it's a different dimension compartment altogether from that one, so I've got to measure everything again, which is a pain. Okay, it's the next day. So I made that piece yesterday, but these three pieces, this one, these two down here, I had to make twice over to get them to fit better. Okay, so I've got that one done now, and it don't even need silicone seal. It's nice and tight. Been adjusting this one a bit. It's much better than it was. I think I'm just going to have to remake that one. Just have it a little bit deeper there. It'll avoid having silicone seal on it then. Okay, so I'll recut that one. This now, to me, all fitting close enough where I don't need silicone seal. That one's alright. Now I'm cutting the window frame, leveling blocks. So each one will be like that. I've got to drill them in position, and then after that mark a flat line across here to flatten it out. That's how I did that one. I've knocked off working on all up there. This is the first time I've had a go with a hairdryer. Use this with a hairdryer, heating it up. Thanks to a comment from Dirk a couple of episodes back. I've used this technique before, but not on the camper van build. I can't remember exactly how what I've done with it, but I know I've certainly done it before. But this is actually coming off, so very good suggestion. That's it. Okay, less than 5 minutes. That's pretty good. It's not put the metal at risk of warping, and not put my paint at risk on the outside. Okay, since I managed to get that sound deadening panel off yesterday, I've gotten on with putting the window glass in today. I'll probably do it for today. I'm not convinced it's going to stay there actually. It's very flexible, that panel is. Okay, so I'm on with a few things today. Since I took that 6mm piece of plywood off of the wall, it's given me some spare plywood that I didn't have. So I made this up for in there. Fits quite nicely. So I'm ready to put that in. Been cleaning up round edges of putting this in. I could have done without putting brown tape on. That's a job to get off, but it does come off. That's not so much of a problem. That's the primer to prepare the wall and the back of the glass. And that is a pig to get off. I'll probably end up having to spray a bit of white paint on here. Drilling all these and cutting them down. Must have fitted them to the window frame. Okay, I've got my levelers in position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am thinking it's going to need one more here probably. In the meantime, before I make that one, I'll just get these marked up, taken off, cut and put back in. Yeah, so a couple of days later, this panel that I've taken out of here that I was going to weight relieve, I have weight relieved. That's it there. The bits I've taken out of it down there. They're ready to mount the tongue and groove on the wall up here. And I've got one of the pieces that were taken out of here I'll be using to mount tongue and groove on the inside of this sliding door. Just from that sort of point up to there, I'm going to put this panel back in here just to protect it, because I think it's best, because it being so flimsy sort of thing with being a frame. I think the best way of protecting it is actually to put it back in. Okay, so that's the end of my day's work. I've had a pretty good day. Put that in, that in, that in, that in, that in. I took 3 of these out that were here. So because I've had to put these in, I just had to cut these down a little bit more, that's the only thing that's slowed me down, really. I've had a pretty good day. And now I'm actually ready to start putting tongue and groove back in. Okay, so it's the next day. I made a second piece last night, but I didn't get the hole quite in the right place. It weren't fantastic fit anyway. So I made a third one today, that's better. Still absolutely perfect, but that one is staying in. Okay, so that's in. I'll probably replace this brake tile. I've got some spare in the house. I've also cut this down. I took it out to cut it down because it was quite a long cut, and I'm glad I did actually. I shall now mount this, cut this one down to shape, and then I can start with these vertical panels. Okay, end of my day's work. That bit's in. Looking like a pretty good fit. Tongue groove one here is going to cover that gap up. I've cut that down. That's quite a nice line now. And I've got 4 pieces in on the top. I'm starting to relax with the job now. I'm feeling a bit better about it because I'm getting back to where I was. It's still time consuming doing tongue and groove, especially because I've got for each strip here now I've got 2 to do. Okay, so it's the next day. It's a very satisfactory morning's work actually. I actually took that one that was there out. That is actually that one. So I wasn't too happy we had it joined at the top anyway. Got that one in. These 3 don't look much, but the top of each one I'm having to angle like that to get it to fit close to the ceiling. I've got to even this. Oh, I've angled that a little bit. I've got to even all that out, which I'll try and do in position with the drill attachment once it's all finished. Okay, so I've temporarily run out of screws to carry on with this stuff, but I'm a lot further on with this than I expected to be at this time. I think it's just over a fortnight since I actually decided to make a start on redoing this wall, and I can't believe I'm this far on. Another 2 weeks and I will definitely have it finished. Without the screws I can get on with this bit here up to here, but yeah, I'm very, very pleased with that progress. So I'm just going to glue a piece in there, same for there. I don't know how that's going to fall until I get wood over there. It may be that it falls in a kind of spot, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, it's looking good. So it's a couple of days later, last bit of film. I didn't actually do a thing yesterday because I didn't feel like it. Today I put that in. Then that, then that bit. That just wants straightening out with drill attachment with a little sander on it. When I've got the whole lot in place, I think I'll probably do that. That probably needs a bit as well actually. I should have angled that before I put it in. Yeah, what I'm bothered about now is how to do this bit and this corner particularly. I'm going to put a piece of 2020, attach a piece of 2020 with a little angle bit, a bit like that or similar, just so that I've got a piece there, something to fasten a piece of tongue and groove to there, to that face, a bit down here. But also this bit, I've got a really good template with that. I'll take this off. I want a panel down here. I'll cut it out to there. I basically want it to look like that. Cut it out to there. Fit it onto that face, that. Just to go below the edge of bed. Right, the length of that. Which is an awkward piece to make. But I want it consistent with how I've done that side. Otherwise it's going to look like a hodgepodge. So I'll need to get on with that probably next. I'm going to put that there. That's just an off cut I've got. And that'll then support panel going down here. And then actually I think one strip, the full length of that, I don't actually think it's going to reach that, so it's going to be fastening there. Probably not there. I'll probably do it to that one, Okay, so once in a while I will have a common sense bypass, but not this time, because I put that in there, put in one of these spring T-nuts in there to attach this to. But they're a pig for dropping out and sometimes sliding straight down here, and if it went down there it would disappear behind you and I wouldn't be able to retrieve it. I'd have to get the sink out. Now that's not happening, so I put that in where. So if this does drop down, not so much now when I'm pressing it in, but when I'm trying to put the bolt in, I didn't have the slightest problem with that. It's gone straight in, it's not popped out at all, so just got to get it tight. It can be a pig getting these in the alloy key recessing bolted behind these angles, because you can't see at all what you're doing, so you're just floundering about in dark. But that's nearly it. So that's in, all straightened up. So now to get this bit out, I've already measured the piece I need to go in this long strip. Okay, so I've got this cut to length. I've got to use the old piece as a template, which I've done, I've marked it to cut it out so that it'll go tight against here. And then at the bottom, it just needs cutting out to where I've done that little line for it to go down this piece of 2020 here. So I've got that in position. By and large it looks pretty good, but I could absolutely kick myself because I've carried that line down there instead of just easing it out. And that little bit there, there's going to be a gap when tongue grooves down here, and that is really infuriating. I'm not recovering it, I'll just fill it with something, but that is really, really annoying. Okay, so it's fastening on one. I've marked parallel line there. Parallel line here, that hole wants taking down a little bit. I've not done it very well, as per usual. Got that parallel line marked. What I'm worried about doing is taking that too far in there, so that when I'm cutting it, it all breaks. It's not the strongest wood, so I don't want to leave it too far in. Okay, so that's in. But I've made such a stupid mistake with it that I might make it again. It's such a waste of wood. It is. It's a long piece of wood and all going to scrap. But the flattened edge should have been there. Heavens above, I just can't believe I've done that. It's still easy enough to make these bits up without it actually linking into that piece, but that is so frustrating. Okay, I eventually got that fitted. I had an absolute nightmare fitting it because the spring T-nuts aren't a fantastic fit in the grooves. They're not as good as some. Sometimes I think they're a really good fit, and sometimes they're not, they're a bit loose, and it can cause a right problem if you've not got the holes drilled perfectly straight. It can be a right problem. But anyway, it's taken me the best part of 2 hours to fit out of all the stupid things. I ended up drilling an extra hole here, fitting it to that one, and now there's much less flex there. Anyway, I've also added a piece there and added a little piece there, so that when I get the next piece in here, we'll even that all out nicely. And bear in mind also that the mattress comes up to about here. So it's quite a good fix. That's going to be barely noticeable what I've done wrong there. Okay, it's the morning after, and you have to laugh. After all problems I had fitting that one yesterday, that, which appears to be much more difficult to fit and get in, I've cut and fitted in a space of about an hour and a half, which is, I've basically done that freehand. I mean, I can't believe it. Yeah, it's not fantastically tight down here. Once mattress comes up to here and duvets on, that'll just not be visible. I'm just not bothered. I'll cover it up with something. The thing is, I got just enough movement in that wood to be able to force it in and get it into the slot. So check this one out. This one a delicate cutting job. Get in. Okay, so I'm just knocking off for there. What have I done today? I can't remember if I've done that. It's definitely these two. I think actually these two as well, yeah. These two, that one. Yeah, unfortunately, it took me 3 goes to make that, so I've got 2 pieces this length with cutouts like that. They're just a bit too short. It's a couple of days later. Didn't do anything yesterday. I've got these last 2 bits in here. Or is it 3? It might be 3. I can't remember how many I've done today. I can't remember if it's 2 or 3. Anyway, I think it's 3. Just remember a bit earlier in the video, that bit I'd not leant out at an angle like that, and I knew it was going to leave a hole. Well, that's it. And this piece, actually, if I redo it, I've got a really good template, and it's actually quite easy to put back in, as long as these holes are drilled in perfectly the right position. So I've got to redo it, haven't I? Okay, it's mid-afternoon. I haven't done a fantastic amount today, but I've had enough. Replace that one. No gap there now where there was one. It's just loads better. I've had my apple caught, which that's a bit because I've had a fault code on the van, which I'm trying to deal with, hopefully. I'm making a separate video for it. Hopefully it'll be a short one, but we'll see. Anyway, back on with it today. I've got that done. And check this piece. Probably not be able to push it in one-handed, but it goes like so. Pleased with that one. Okay, that's the end of my day's work. Got these in, straightened a couple of bits up here, there. I really could do a remaking that. It's an awkward piece to remake, but it would look a lot better if I did it, so I might do that tomorrow. I've also made a start on this. As soon as I get to the end of there, I'll consider myself all caught up with this job, even though I've got to varnish it all. It's the day after I've remade this bit. That's the old part. So it took me about half an hour. So, but the crucial part now is whether I've got the holes and is at the right place. We'll see in a minute. So this is a few days later. Just to cover a few loose ends up. I'm going to cover that, carry that on with that stuff to about there, and then that bit I'm going to use a plastic enclosure, which is, that's what that is there. That's actually behind the driver's seat. But they're good for covering bits of clumps of wires up and stuff like that. So yes, I'll be sorting that out soon, but there's no great rush for that. The thing is though, I've finished that. It's about 3 days since I last filmed. I've done a couple of days work without filming anything, because it is a bit boring doing this stuff. But that's done. I might think about putting a strip over the top of that. I might. I don't know if it's worth it with where mattress is going to come to. I don't really think it's worth it, but if I'm going to be obsessive about it, I might do. Anyway, that is all caught up, and I am actually well pleased with the end result. All I've got to do now is got to do a little bit of evening out around here, just smooth that out around there a little bit, and that is about it, and then I can varnish it. So, end of the episode.